The self-proclaimed brilliant engineer, eccentric, sarcastic mastermind, and the handsomest member of the Seven, the scientist, is one of the most essential members of the Seven. This brilliant engineer helped design the suits for the Seven, the rockets, and quite literally anything you can think of technology related to the Seven, he created. Without him, the Seven most likely wouldn't have stood a chance against the Imagined Order. In this video, we will go over the scientist's past, his relationship with the other members of the Seven, and his future. So let's not waste any more time and descend into the story of the scientist. Our introduction to the scientist starts way back in the end of Chapter 1 Season X. Before his initial reveal, the scientist was named Visitor Volta. Volta means rhetorical shift or dramatic change. This occurs when a speaker or writer alter their style or tone in a piece, and this old name was probably a hint from Donald Mustard himself telling us that the story of Fortnite is about to change dramatically, because later on we will learn more about the IO, the 7, and the 0 point. But once the outfit finally released on September 14th, 2019, the character's name was changed to the Scientist. In the beginning of Season X, the Scientist arrived by a meteor to Athena, the Chapter 1 map, after the 0 point was destabilized by the Singularity, aka the Paradigm, in Season 9's final showdown event. After he made it to Athena, the Scientist made his way towards Dusty Depot, and taking one of the depots for himself to build a launching site, a rocket, designing a new suit, and communications to the Seven. Quick fact about the Scientist suit, he actually had the same exact suit as the Visitor, but in Season X he changed it, so it may have been hard to differentiate the two at the time. He also went around the island creating 8 rift beacons, one failing, leaving only 7. These rift beacons would eventually be used in the end event to let the rest of the 7 into the island and help the Scientist restabilize the 0 point. It is also very possible that the IO gave the 7 the idea to restabilize the 0 point, perhaps deceived them by giving the 7 control of the 0 point and leaving all responsibilities on the 7. This is because the IO most likely knew the 7 were capable of restabilizing the 0 point and couldn't risk being revealed yet to the loopers. This would also give the IO time to plan out how they'd take over the 0 point after the end event. Before the event though, the Scientist left us with a couple tapes that, if put together, gives us an entire message.
What the 7 of us are attempting is very risky. I suspect they are not the only ones watching, but it must be done or we lose the bridge forever. I speculate that no one calculated the formation of the island, that interdimensional matter collisions would resolve rather than push. Now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pinching alone made it inevitable. When I hear this again, will it help me remember? Or once looped, will I be just as muted as the others? No matter, it seems the lengthy precautions worked. The theorem was a success. You arrived outside the loop at the exact moment of expansion. This effectively paused the singularity, giving us time to create the devices needed to synchronize the junction. What I didn't factor was that the only way to trigger the device was from within the loop itself. Thus this hasty and primitive recording. And why now I find myself looped. Activate the beacon at precisely the moment this timer reaches nothing. The 0 point must be contained once more. If they are correct, it will be the end.
So before any of you come after me saying it is not the Scientist tapes, it's the Visitor who made them, sorry to break it to you, but unfortunately we've all been deceived by a simple misunderstanding, and Donald Mustard noticed that, so he cleared up the confusion on his Twitter and made it very clear that it was the Scientist who said this all. Now I'll explain to you the two most important parts from the Scientist recordings and what it meant. The first one is when the Scientist says what the 7 of us are attempting is very risky. This very risky part could most likely mean that they are listening to the Imagined Order and restabilizing the 0 point. And the second part right after, he says, I suspect they are not the only ones watching. We can infer they are the Imagined Order because in the Batman Fortnite 0 point comic series, Dr. Sloan reveals that they is what the island dwellers call the IO. So after all of that had been said and done, the time for the end was here. The Scientist launched his rocket and created a rift in the sky that would activate all the other rifts to let the 7 in. The 7 then worked together to unfreeze the meteor from time and drop it on the 0 point, causing the island to be rearranged, then flip to the other side and causing a black hole that would last 2 days. During the black hole, a couple numbers appeared and the community was able to decrypt the numbers, resulting in a message from the Scientist saying, I was not alone. Others were outside the loop. This was not calculated. The nothing is now inevitable. I'm not quite sure what this might have meant, but I believe the others may have been the loopers who escaped or the IO, but I'm not too sure on that. After that, we never heard of the scientist again until Chapter 2, Season 8. After 2 dreadful years, Chapter 2 finally came to an end in the Chapter 2 finale event, and with it we finally saw the return of the scientist, helping us to get to the bridge safely and leading us into Chapter 3. We learned that the scientist is a very smart man and likes to occasionally boast how intelligent he is when there is nothing bad going on, but when there is a dire situation, he quickly becomes serious and gets to work on whatever needs to be done. In Chapter 3 Season 1, we learned that the scientist is trying to convince the Seven to forgive Paradigm and that he really wants her back to the island because she is the only hope to stop the IO from succeeding in their plans. Fortunately for him, she does decide to return, but his arguing with the Seven does not stop for a while, especially with the Origin. The Origin and the scientist had major beef about the Paradigm and whether or not to trust her. The scientist is completely on her side, while the Origin hates her and does not want her back at all. This now leads us to Chapter 3 Season 2. The Seven got back together and were only missing Paradigm. And over the weeks we had seen a lot happen. The Seven arguing back and forth about the Paradigm, but slowly forgiving her and noticing that the scientist may possibly have a crush on the Paradigm. This isn't 100% confirmed, but there are a couple speculations due to the scientist and the Paradigm both having the only white style in the Seven that is nearly identical, dialogue from the scientist when you visit him as the Paradigm, and him just standing by her all the time. So this is just a theory, but it seems to be pointing towards it. Anyways, this all leads us to the present right now. The IO had been pushed back by the Seven so much that they've resorted to a if we can't have it, then no one can have it, and will destroy the entire island with their doomsday device known as the Collider as shown on screen. The Seven are in such a dire situation right now that they've finally all put their grudges to the side and now are focusing on the mission and forgiving Paradigm for the time being. Now going back to Paradigm being their only hope. She has the mech, so that can stop the IO's Collider. The Origin also now seems a bit more compassionate towards the Paradigm as heard in an upcoming Resistance quest.
So Jones has filled you in on our plans to repair the mech. Good. Between you and I, getting that mech moving is our only hope. Repairs are underway, but after the way we treated the Paradigm, I don't know if she'll pilot it. We're communicating now, but there's work to be done. If she refuses to help, we'll still need a pilot. And you've proven your loyalty to all of us. I need you to complete our pilot tryouts. Trials in speed, agility, and climbing. Good luck. I've recorded your score. You can move to the next trial. Okay, let's see the next one. Good work, Looper. We'll tabulate your results. Even if the Paradigm comes back, she might need a co-pilot.
With this all said, we can infer that the scientist does have a big impact on the Seven, and his work itself shows how reliant the Seven are on him. His future is currently a mystery, but a theory going around right now is that he may possibly repair the mech with Paradigm adding a 7 style to it, or maybe not. We'll just have to see in 2 weeks. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more storyline content such as this, consider subscribing, and if you'd like to support me, use my code Rezztro in the item shop. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!